Hello, everyone. This is your guest host, Bernie Sanders, Senator for the United States of America, here today on Home Media Reviews. Today, everyone, we're going to be reviewing the very pro-capitalist movie Iron Man. Now, I just have to say that I am very against this movie and all of its capitalist preachings because socialism is the way, comrades! I mean, come on, communism never killed anyone. Well, except for all the people in the Soviet Union, but we're just gonna ignore those people. Bernie, what are you doing in my recording studio again? What? Huh? I'm not here! I was never here! Sorry about that, folks. He likes to break in every now and then and rant about how communism is the way. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Season 5 of Home Media Reviews. Have you missed me? I certainly have missed you all. It's been far too long since the last season of this show, and I have more things to say about various different movies. This review, as our very near and dear friend Senator Sanders said, is on Iron Man. So without further ado and no more funny improvisational jokes, let's move right along to the history section of Iron Man. So Iron Man made his theatrical debut on May 2nd, 2008. I did not see this movie in theaters. I was only 8 years old at the time. I had zero interest in superheroes. I was more interested in things like SpongeBob, Jimmy Neutron, Fairly Odd Parents, that kind of thing. I didn't see Iron Man until around 2012, I believe. Maybe early 2013, because I saw this before I saw Iron Man 3. And Iron Man 3 was my first MCU experience in theaters. I first saw Iron Man on a TV recording. This is back when we had cable. I think we had AT&T at the time. So I recorded it off of a random TV station and watched it that way. I watched it on my old CRT, 30-plus inch television that was upstairs in my room. You guys remember those old unboxing videos where I showed that huge-ass TV in my room? That thing was so freaking heavy to carry down the stairs. I do not miss that thing one bit. It was kind of cool, though, I'll admit. It's a cool little time capsule, I guess. But it's gone now. It went to the recycler. And then I think a few years after that, I bought Iron Man on DVD. I really wanted to own that movie. That was around the point where I really started collecting films, mostly on DVD at first. I didn't care what format I had it on as long as I had it. I'm very different nowadays. I have to have my favorite movies in the highest quality possible. But that's getting ahead of ourselves. The physical release of Iron Man came on September 30th, 2008. This included a standard DVD release, that single disc variant, which was the version I owned for quite a while. There was also a 2-disc special edition DVD and simultaneous Blu-ray release. There was not a single disc Blu-ray release in 2008. That comes later. The only way that you could watch Iron Man on Blu-ray is if you bought the 2-disc version, which had a really cool gimmick with the slipcover. The slipcover had Iron Man's suit on the outside, and the arc reactor was poking through on a cardboard cutout. And then you took the slipcover off, and underneath is Tony Stark in a black wife beater and the arc reactor shining underneath him. It was a really cool slipcover. Even back in 2008, we have some retailer exclusives. Target had an exclusive DVD and Blu-ray. It had helmet-style packaging. Your discs came in this weird plastic case that looked like Iron Man's helmet. I guess it was cool. FYE jumping in here. We don't usually see them nowadays with exclusives, but they had an exclusive DVD steelbook. Yeah, you heard me right, a DVD steelbook. Those did exist at one point. Walmart had an exclusive 2-pack with a bonus DVD, which included an episode of the cartoon series Iron Man Armored Adventures. I think I might have this DVD, actually. I think I bought it brand new sealed at Half Price Books for $1, thinking it was worth something. I don't know. I don't think it's in the close-up, though. I shot the close-up months ago, so I can't remember if I showed it or not. I might not even still have it. I don't know. I think I think I have it. I don't know. Maybe there'll be a supplemental. He's manufacturing supplementals. Some weird conspiracy theory the community's gonna accuse me of in the next couple of months. But that's it for the initial releases of Iron Man. The next release would come on March 22nd, 2011. Here's where the single disc Blu-ray comes around. The poster art has also been changed. It's now the theatrical poster, which looks really good in my opinion. April 2nd, 2013 brings us the MCU Phase 1 box set. We talked about this back in the original Home Media review episode on Avengers. That was the episode 1 of this series. Seems so long ago. It came in that huge S.H.I.E.L.D.-style briefcase package, and all the movies were in these little sleeves. It had exclusive bonus content, a replica of the Tesseract, everything. It was pretty cool, I'm going to be honest. I would really like to have that set. It's just really expensive. I can't justify spending triple digits on this. September 17th, 2017 brings us another copy of Iron Man on Blu-ray. This time the poster art's been changed. It's just a simple Iron Man with the title under it with the gold background. This Blu-ray included a digital copy, first time that's ever happened. August 13th, 2019 brings us Iron Man on 4K Blu-rays. Comes out the same day as Avengers Endgame, actually. And I remember picking this up day one. I was so excited for my Iron Man Steelbook. Did I mention there was a Steelbook? There was a Best Buy Steelbook. I don't think I mentioned that. But there was, of course. The Steelbook looks better than the actual artwork on the regular 4K Blu-ray. Because it's the theatrical poster art. I just love that theatrical poster so much. I would hang it in my room if I could. This next set should sound familiar to you. November 15th, 2019 brings us the Infinity Saga Collector's Set. We talked about this during Avengers Infinity War a few years ago. This comes with all 23 movies in the Infinity Saga in 4K, and this was a Best Buy exclusive. This thing goes for crazy money on the aftermarket. It was expensive when it first came out, but now it's even more expensive, and it's a gorgeous set. But again, I can't justify spending triple digits on this, especially when I already own all of these movies, most of them in 4K. And then our most recent set comes to us on July 13th, 2021. This is the Iron Man 3 movie Blu-ray collection. This includes all 3 Iron Man movies on Blu-ray, as well as a digital copy for each of them. There have been no reprints of Iron Man since, and of course, now that I say that, not a week after this video comes out, there'll be a new reprint of Iron Man that's announced and immediately put this video out of date. It's happened before, it will happen again. It's about to happen with Ocean's 11. I hear that's actually getting rumored to get a 4K release this year, so you bet your ass I'll be picking that up when that comes out. Of course, I probably said the same thing about Collateral, and still haven't got that yet. That wraps up your history section. Let's move right along to the close-up. Alrighty, everyone, here's your close-up look at Iron Man. First up, we have, I am not sure when this Blu-ray came out, actually. It's obviously the ultimate 2-disc edition of the Blu-ray, which originally came out in 2008 when the movie came out, of course, but that original version had this artwork on a slipcover, and you took the slipcover off, and underneath was Tony Stark. This one doesn't have a slipcover. It's just the artwork is already there. There's no Tony Stark underneath it or anything, but it does have a very nice picture of Iron Man, very glossy there. You've got the logo with the Blu-ray logo up there too. And then the arc reactor. Spine, Paramount Pictures, portrait of Iron Man from the front, the Iron Man logo, 2-disc set, product number, Blu-ray, Marvel logo. The back has your proof of purchase barcode there, Tony Stark, you got Pepper Potts, Terrence Howard, because he's actually not Rhodey. Something about that performance didn't sit right with me, but we'll talk about that later. We got a little thing down here for all of the special features that you get for both discs. Oh, there's Obadiah down there in the Ironmonger suit, and then you've got a blurb about the movie, cast and crew information down there at the bottom. Let me see, actually, if I can find a copyright date for this. All I'm seeing is copyright 2008. It was probably said in the history section, so you guys probably already know. And if we take a look inside, you've got your Blu-ray. It's blue. Well, I guess technically there are two Blu-rays. So this is the first disc Blu-ray. It's blue for Blu-ray. Feature film, special features, and then your other disc is over here with just your special features. But they have the same artwork on them. That being no artwork. In the last few years, I've done a lot of 4K upgrading to a lot of my Marvel movies, like with the Captain America trilogy and the Avengers movies. I've sold off a lot of my older Blu-ray copies that I didn't need anymore. I've sold them on eBay and to a couple of local stores, but this one I kept because it has a lot of special features on that second disc, and I don't think that they're actually available on later releases. Speaking of later releases, Iron Man was one of the movies I upgraded to 4K, and I got the steelbook of it because how the hell could I not? It has the original theatrical poster art on it, and I love this poster. Even though it's primarily big heads, I don't care. It's so cool. I love the Iron Man suit next to Tony Stark. It's kind of like a duality of man type thing. And you got Obadiah Stane, Pepper Potts, Terrence Howard, not Rhodey. I love how the suit makes up this half of the poster, and the other half is of the cast. And you've got you got the Mark I down there. Look at that. You got this like iron rusted metal look around the edge. I love this steelbook artwork. It is so awesome. The spine, the Iron Man logo, Paramount Pictures logo up there. I don't know why it will not focus. Paramount Pictures logo there. On the bottom, 4K logo in Marvel Studios, and the back is just the arc reactor with that rusted metal iron look to it. And we open it up. You have two discs here. There's your 4K. It has the new artwork on it from when this got released on 4K in 2019 when Endgame came out. Take that disc out, and then your Blu-ray now actually has artwork to it. It's Tony Stark and the suit from the front cover. And then your artwork inside of the steelbook is Tony in the workshop as he's working on one of his gauntlets. Alright, so that wraps up your close-up. Let's move right along to the menu tour. Alrighty everyone, here's your menu tour for Iron Man, starting off with the original Blu-ray film disc. The bonus features disc is next. We have a 3D model of Iron Man there going through some systems checks, throwing up some photos from the movie as well, some of the cast members. There's the Mark I on the screen. It's a really cool menu. It's very 2008, I'll say that much. We got play, scenes, settings, and extras. Oh, and if you hover over something there, you can see it's actually selecting parts of Iron Man's body. So scenes, it selects his head, settings, the arc reactor, and extras, his wrist gauntlets. So let's take a look at scenes. Oh, they're all here on one page. Convenient. So each of them has a number and a screenshot. If we scroll down, 15 scenes, 14 if you don't count the credits. That's a decent amount for a movie that barely reaches 2 hours. Oh, and we have a little option over here to create a bookmark by pressing the green button on your Blu-ray remote. Mine is an Xbox One controller, so I don't know what button that would be. For settings, we have a English 5.1 Dolby True HD mix, French 5.1 and Spanish 5.1. For subtitles, we have English, English SDH, French, Spanish, and Portuguese. I don't expect there to be a lot of extras on the film disc, but we have a Hall of Armor, the Invincible Iron Man, and deleted and extended scenes. We also have an option down there for Blu-ray Live. I want to see what this Hall of Armor is. Okay, so this is like an interactive type thing here, so you can select each of the Iron Man armors that appear in the movie. Let's take a look at the Mark 1. Mark 1 armor, 360 degree. So that must be the computer-generated model that they used for this. I love these like 3D model showcases. There were a ton of these on the Star Wars Complete Saga Blu-ray. Oh, we have a little piece of information for each of parts of the armor here. So for the helmet, you can see Tony's eye under there. Cast iron shell and retractable faceplate. This is cool. Gives you like a full breakdown of like every piece of every armor that appears in the movie. We're not going to go through each one. There are probably videos here on YouTube that do, but this is really awesome. I'm curious what this Invincible Iron Man is. Origins, Friends and Foes, The Definitive Iron Man, Demon in a Bottle, Extremis and Beyond, Ultimate Iron Man. Is this like a documentary about Iron Man's comic book origins? Because the Demon in a Bottle is a famous Iron Man storyline, and so is Extremis. I've read both of them. Extremis is better in my opinion. Let's take a look at this. So yeah, this is like a little documentary type thing. I assume Stan Lee, yeah, there's Stan Lee. He's probably talking about Iron Man right now. I don't want to play any of the audio because I don't want to risk a copyright claim, but yeah, that's cool. It's like a full-on documentary about Iron Man's comic book origins. And that's on the film disc. There's plenty more on the bonus disc. You would be forgiven if you thought that the menu hadn't changed, but here we are for the bonus disc. So we don't have any extra menus or anything here except, I suppose, for the galleries or theatrical trailers and subtitles and stuff like that. But for starters, we have the I Am Iron Man, the 7-part feature-length documentary that makes this release worth it, in my opinion. Well, the movie's great too, but, I mean, we have the 4K now. The I Am Iron Man documentary, that's really good. Wired, the visual effects of Iron Man, also a good featurette. Robert Downey Jr. screen test, the actor's process, The Onion, wildly popular Iron Man trailer to be adapted into full feature-length film. The Onion is pretty funny, so I imagine that's a pretty funny featurette. Theatrical trailers, galleries, credits, and subtitles. Let's take a look at the theatrical trailers here. We have theatrical teaser, theatrical trailer, the international trailer, and another version of that trailer. Galleries, we got concept art, tech, unit photography, and posters. Subtitles, English, French, Spanish, and Portuguese. Oh, and you can also select each part of the I Am Iron Man documentary. So we have The Journey Begins, The Suit That Makes the Iron Man, Walk of Destruction, Grounded in Reality, Beneath the Armor. It's all in the details and a good story well told. Alright folks, here's your menu tour for the 4K disc of Iron Man. Now you may be wondering, hey, you skipped a disc. There's a Blu-ray in that steelbook there. Didn't you see that? It has new artwork. Isn't it completely brand new? No, it's a reskin disc from this. The exact same disc that's in the steelbook. It's the one that's in here. It's the film disc. So it has all the same features, the Hall of Armor, the documentary about Iron Man, the deleted scenes, all that stuff is still there. The only thing that's changed is there's no Blu-ray Live option there. But the 4K has a completely different menu. It's a more modern-esque menu with clips of the film playing in the background and no bonus content whatsoever because Disney hates to put bonus content on their 4K discs. We have play, scene selection, and settings. I believe we'll have the same number of scenes. I don't know why they would change that. Yeah, 15 scenes. And look, you even have the little bar over here with your runtime. We have a Dolby Atmos mix, which sounds pretty good. English 2.0, French 7.1, Spanish 7.1, and Italian 7.1. For subtitles, we have English, French, Spanish, Italian, Norse, and Savenska. I still don't know what that is. And for disc languages, exactly the same as the subtitles. So that wraps up your menu tour. Let's head on back and answer the 5 main questions as always. Alright, so we're back from the close-up. Now it's time to answer the 5 main questions as always. Number 1, where can you pick this product up? I'd say you could find it in stores, but I haven't seen the 3-movie Blu-ray collection. I'm just going to call it the Iron Man Trilogy collection. Since like maybe mid-2022 was the last time I saw that on store shelves. So I'm going to say no to this unless you're looking at like a discount store, like a Half Price Books. You can find plenty of these there. Number 2, is this product still being printed nowadays? You could technically count the Disney Plus version that's available right now as being a copy that you could not purchase but watch, but no, it's not. Number 3, should you pick this product up? I don't think it's any secret that I'm going to recommend Iron Man, but let me tell you why. And I'm not just going to tell you why this movie's great. There's many other content creators out there who have broken down what makes Iron Man such a great introduction to an iconic character. I'm not going to do that, though. Well, maybe I kind of am, but I'm going to tell you what this movie means to me and why I personally love it so much. We'll start off with what makes this just a great movie. And come on, Robert Downey Jr., he was such a weird choice to play this character. Dude had been to jail multiple times. He had just gotten sober prior to being cast as this character. And man, this doesn't even feel like a performance from Downey. He feels like he's just playing himself. He totally melts into the role of Tony Stark, plays this character absolutely perfectly. I love every line from him in this entire movie. His monologue when he's pitching his Jericho missile, fabulous. That was almost my yearbook quote for my senior year in high school. I chose one by Rocket Raccoon instead, but this quote was almost it. So it's better to be feared or respected. You know what I say? Is it too much to ask for both? They say the best weapon is the one that you never have to fire. I respectfully disagree. I prefer the weapon you only have to fire once. That's how Dad did it. That's how America does it. And it's worked out pretty well so far. You let one of these bad boys off the chain, and I personally guarantee you that the bad guys won't even want to come out of their caves. For your consideration, the Jericho. I mean, the character of Tony Stark has so much attitude to him. It just works so well in this movie that has so much attitude to it as well. I mean, it opens with AC/DC's Back in Black, which is the perfect tonal set for this movie. Hey, is it cool if I take a picture with you? Yes, it's very cool. Yeah, peace. I love peace. You know, I'd be out of a job for peace. I don't think I need to go on any longer about how great Downey Jr. is in this role. Again, plenty of other people have talked about it, but he is the definitive version of Iron Man. And that's part of the problem why it's going to be so damn hard for Marvel to reboot Iron Man, because you know it's going to happen at some point. They're going to want to restart the MCU probably in another 20 to 30 years. There's going to be a huge reboot of all these characters. It's going to be really hard to find someone as good as Downey Jr. His supporting cast around him is also great as well. I remember, though, being a pretty big critic of Gwyneth Paltrow back in the day, and I don't know why. She's really good here. I don't know what stick I had up my butt for her, but she's pretty good in this role. She's got attitude as well, especially in that scene with Christine Everhart when she drops the comment about taking out the trash. That always makes me laugh. And as with any good relationship that's functional, she's the one that pretty much knows everything about the guy, and the guy doesn't know anything about himself. I actually don't think that you could tie your shoes without me. Yeah. Well, I'd make it a week. Really? What's your social security number? 5. I do think, though, that the Pepper Potts love story could be a little bit more fleshed out, but as it stands, it's pretty good, and I believe them as a couple, and that's what matters. My sticking point for me now is Terrence Howard as Rhodey. I know how good of an actor that Don Cheadle is, and I love him as Rhodey. It's hard for me to go back and watch Terrence Howard as Rhodey because I know how much better Don Cheadle is in this role. Like, I like Terrence Howard. I think he's a good actor. He's just not right for Rhodey. There's just something about his performance. He plays him, I wouldn't say too serious. There's just something about it that doesn't click with me, and something about Don Cheadle that clicks with me. Maybe it's because we've seen Cheadle more and I'm more used to him as Rhodey. But something about Terrence Howard, man, it just doesn't click with me. He gives a good performance. I'm not criticizing him for that. I'm criticizing him for not specifically appealing to me, and that's not something he can change. So I guess it's not really a criticism, it's just my own personal opinion. Jeff Bridges plays Obadiah Stane. That villain name wasn't obvious enough. Jeff Bridges is really good. I enjoy his borderline sadistic performance. The scene with the terrorists in the desert at night, that doesn't sound very specific, but it's the one where Jeff Bridges shows up and the music goes boom, like we're not supposed to know that he was the villain the whole time. Come on, that twist was not well hidden. He shows up and he threatens Raza, which is the main terrorist guy's name. He's listed as in the credits. I don't think it's ever said in the movie, but it's in the IMDb credits. He has some pretty good lines there. Technology. It's always been your Achilles heel in this neck of the woods. Don't worry, it only lasts for 15 minutes. That's the least of your problems. His voice is just very menacing. It's the way he plays the character. Once he's revealed to be the villain, Bridges' performance changes on a dime. At first, you think he's like the kind of grandfatherly character, but then, ooh, he's a villain. That reveal comes, and then, oh, I'm picking up on all the sadistic hints in Bridges' performance. It's very subtle, but once you notice it, you'll never unnotice it. There is some criticism towards the third act of Iron Man, and I kind of tend to agree with it. Obadiah Stane does kind of go crazy for no reason. You would have thought if the only goal was to kill Pepper, he would have just, I don't know, shot her in the head or something. And it is really dumb when he busts out of the ground in that badass Ironmonger suit, which, by the way, the Marvel Legends figure of that, chef's kiss, wonderful. And he cocks his gun, and then he's like, your services are no longer required. Just shoot! Shoot her in the head. It's not that hard. You don't have to monologue, man. It could have ended it like that. She would have been dead instantly. But no, you just had to monologue because you're the villain. You're the bad guy. But I can forgive that because that final fight's really good. All the action sequences in Iron Man are great, and that's due mostly to the fact that these effects are practical. They built most, if not all, of these Iron Man suits in person and stuck either Downey Jr. or a stunt double in. And then I think ILM came in later and CGI'd over it, which makes it look even better. The suits in Iron Man, I don't think they've ever looked better than this. They look absolutely amazing. I love the design of all three of Tony's suits. Mark 1 looks like it was ripped straight out of the comic books. Mark 2, sleek. Love it. Mark 3, even better. Throw a little Hot Rod Red in there. Awesome. I particularly love the scene where Iron Man goes back to the village where he was captured and just obliterates a bunch of terrorists. That's great. It's something I don't think we would have the guts to put in a movie now. I mean, they call it out blatantly. The movie starts in Afghanistan, like the hub for terrorism back in the early 2000s, or at least that's what we thought. Like, it's called out. Afghanistan, right there, appears in little... It appears in bold lettering down there at the bottom of the screen. You have to appreciate it for that, for having the balls to actually say, we're in Afghanistan, this is where terrorism is, we're not afraid of political blowback. I don't think that's the case nowadays, and it stinks that Hollywood has gone so soft with this kind of thing. But no, back in 2008, you didn't have Iron Man killing a bunch of terrorists. We didn't care. I think that this movie also has really good pacing throughout it. It's a very quick 2-hour movie. It's bam, 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 bam. It gets you in and out in a very satisfying way. Boom, Tony Stark's captured. Boom, Tony Stark's at the airbase, pitching the Jericho missile. Kablam, he's building the Iron Man suit to break out. Blammo, he breaks out. Kaboom, he's in the desert trying to find a way to get home. Kersplat, he's rescued and he's home. You get what I'm saying here? It's very beat for beat for beat for beat, but it's very quick. But it doesn't feel quick. Like, there's a lot in this 2-hour movie to make it more satisfying for the viewer. There's also a couple little Easter eggs in there. I caught the Captain America shield in the background of the scene where Tony is having the suit forcefully removed. And I gotta talk about the Nick Fury scene at the end. Apparently that blew people's minds in the theater. I wish I was one of those people. I knew about the end credit scene going into the movie, because I think I had listened to the Now Playing podcast review of it before I watched it. Spoiler alert, don't do that. They spoil everything. So I wish I could go back and not do that, so I could have that moment of like, boom, what? Avengers? That's what they're building to? Because, back in 2008, we had no idea what was coming. Everything was riding on Iron Man to do well, to be successful. This was Marvel's biggest gamble. They put up like 12 of their most famous characters up for grabs to finance Iron Man. And if this failed, it was over. Marvel was done. But it didn't fail, because Iron Man was a great movie. They trusted Jon Favreau to make a great movie. Something that I don't think Marvel does nowadays. They don't like to trust directors to do their own thing. They like to come in and say, okay, this is great. Can you change this, and this? I feel like they did that with Sam Raimi. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness could have been so much more Sam Raimi, but it wasn't, because I'm sure Marvel said, yeah, that's a little too far. Can we pull that back a little bit, Sam? There you go. That's good. I don't know if they did that with Thor Love and Thunder, because that just seems like Taika Waititi's wet dream on screen. Maybe they just let him do his own thing, but I have heard for some of their TV shows, like Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Ms. Marvel, stuff like that, they've been very hands-on in how those shows are crafted. So Marvel, if you're listening, let the directors do their thing. All right? They understand the property. They don't need you to babysit them at all points in time. Offer a couple of hints here or there, but for the most part, stay out of the director's way. They know what they're doing. Unless their name is Alan Taylor and they're directing Thor: The Dark World, in which case they do not know what they're doing. But he did direct one of the best episodes of Game of Thrones, so I don't know what went wrong there. So the reason that Iron Man is so important to me, not only as a movie, but as a character, this is the first Marvel Cinematic Universe movie I ever saw. And this is really what got me to love movies. I had been a real big TV guy when I was younger. Obviously, I loved watching Thomas and Friends. I would lay out my VHS tapes on the ground and have like a marathon throughout the day. It was amazing. I miss those days. Back before I had to do taxes. Not only that, though, I loved watching just other random kid shows, cartoons, Kipper, Bob the Builder, Fairly Odd Parents, Jimmy Neutron, basically anything that came on the Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, or Cartoon Network, I was there watching it. And I bought a lot of TV shows on DVD. I had like 6 complete seasons of SpongeBob. I bought a few Penguins of Madagascar DVDs. Anytime I'd see a DVD that had television content on it for cheap, I would buy it. But I really wasn't a movie guy. I really only saw animated movies. I saw a few live action things here or there. My parents had me watch like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids when I was younger because they were like, this is a classic. And I'm like, this stinks. I haven't seen it since then, so I don't know if it really did stink or not. Maybe the disc, somebody farted on it. Who knows? I had heard, though, about this Marvel Cinematic Universe thing. I was around when Avengers came out. I didn't see it in theaters, but a lot of my friends did, and they were telling me about how good it was. So I'm like, maybe I ought to give this a shot. Maybe this whole like Marvel thing could be kind of cool. So I taped Iron Man, and I watched it, and I fell in love with it. I was like, damn, this whole movie thing is great. I felt like true emotions watching this movie. This is amazing. I love the filmmaking thing. It's great. This is amazing. I love movies, I said, as I was watching it at 2 o'clock in the morning, probably. It was this, and then Iron Man 3 later on in 2013 that really made me fall in love with filmmaking and the art of making a truly amazing movie. And that's really what I think Iron Man is. It's one of my personal favorites. Honestly, if I didn't pick something like Avengers to cover in the first season of Home Media Reviews, I would have picked Iron Man or Iron Man 3. These are two very important movies to me. I mean, they're kind of like my Star Wars in a way. Like, you know, there are people who have those movies that like, this is what made me love cinema. This is what made me fall in love with it. Well, Iron Man and Iron Man 3 are those movies for me. And that's why I give Iron Man from 2008 the biggest recommendation I could possibly give to any movie. It's so important to me personally that I think everybody should see it. And it's not like a movie that's bad or something that I still like. No, this is a legitimately satisfying experience, and everyone should experience it. It literally kicks off one of the greatest film franchises in history. And one of the most successful. So yeah, recommend for Iron Man. Love this movie to death. Number 4, where should you pick this product up? Anywhere you can find it. And number 5, what price should you pay? Well, for the DVD, find that anywhere. $5. Blu-ray, honestly, just as common. A lot of people bought this movie on Blu-ray and then traded it into their local used DVD store like 5 minutes after that. I'd say probably 10 for that. And the Blu-ray transfer, it looks pretty good for 2008. I still like it. For the 4K, that one's a little bit more rare, I would say. For the standard 4K, probably around 20 for that's what it's worth. The Steelbook, I haven't seen that pop up very much, although I haven't really looked for it on the secondary market, but I'd say that's probably worth around 30, about MSRP. I paid $35 for mine, so it might have dropped in value just a little bit. I did watch this in 4K for this review. I watched Iron Man twice for this, actually. I watched it once on my Vudu, which was just an HD because I watched it on my phone at work. And then I watched the 4K a few days ago. And as far as the 4K transfer goes, it's good. The detail's definitely there, but there are some waxy skin tone issues here. There are a couple of scenes where grain has just been completely scrubbed out. It's gone. It's not there, and the people look really like wax figures. Like, not terrible, not like Terminator 2 on 4K bad, but not great either. I would have preferred to see the film grain. I like film grain. I'm not a grain snob or anything. It makes me think I'm watching a movie, and it can help to enhance the experience of watching said movie. But I'm also not opposed to removing grain from certain movies that maybe are a little too grainy at some points. This 4K transfer, though, it's pretty decent, but if you already own the Blu-ray, it's not really worth the upgrade. If you don't own the 2-disc Blu-ray, though, you should go out and buy that, because that's great. All right, folks. Well, that wraps up the HMR on Iron Man. I'm feeling jazzed. I am so excited to be back for HMR Season 5. This might be our best season yet, because if you don't know, it's all action, baby. Well, not from here on out. We do have a little detour after Iron Man to get through. But it's a very important one, and a very emotional one as well. Hold on a second. I gotta make a call. This thing on. Hey, Miss Potts. If you find this recording, no, don't feel bad about this. You know, part of the journey is the end. I know I said no more surprises, but I was really hoping to pull off one last one. Well, Tony Stark, you did pull off one more surprise. And so did Marvel, because they gave us the second chapter in the, dare I say, greatest film duology of all time, or at least greatest one that I've seen. We're talking Avengers Endgame next week. I don't know how this movie is controversial in any way, because to me, as a fan, it satisfied every urge I didn't know that I had, and it's amazing, and I can't wait to talk with you about it next week. That all being said, thank you all so very much for watching. I'm glad to be back for Season 5. I hope you all are just as excited as I am. Good night, everybody.